Overone. Minutes show the quorum was present with all members in attendance with Ms. Brookwood absent. Please rise for the invocation given by Ms. Harrell. Remain standing for the pledge of allegiance and honor the text of the flag. It's being led by Mr. Turner.
Flag heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here tonight safely to do the business of our district. We ask a special blessing on our educators and our students throughout the summer to keep them safe and return to us. In all the things we do, we ask that you bring us wisdom and discernment to do what's best for our district. Forgive us of our sins and keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Item 2 on the agenda is open forum. We do not have anybody signed up. Item 3 on the agenda is the superintendent's report presented by Mr. Gall.
I was going to recognize Grapevine at this point in time. Obviously, we have started working on the May 23 bond program, so I want to do a quick finance update on that while Ray's coming up to talk about our construction projects. Y'all remember our voters approved in May $695 million worth of bonds for the district. This past Wednesday, we went to market and sold our first installment, which is $200 million of bonds. The interest rates on those bonds came in at 4.2% versus the 4.5% that Mr. Witt presented in June, so we're already in good shape there. This first installment of bonds will fund phase 2 of Westbrook High School, Highlands Elementary, the replacement campus for Caney Elementary, the work you see going on across the street with Caney Athletics, CTE, and then we'll also get the ball rolling on the admin building. And so from the finance side, we're starting off in really good shape. So again, that's our first sale of $200 million, coming in below projected interest rates. And so Ray's going to talk about some of the projects going on that I just mentioned, as well as Port Elementary, the final project of the 2018 one.
Thank you. Yes, congratulations on that funding so we can get to work. So the update on Porter Elementary is from 2018. We're currently tracking that project on schedule. We're only awaiting the final approval from the textile permit to commence the loop 494 road widening. That permit should be issued. We have a meeting scheduled Wednesday. We should be getting that permit in the next couple of weeks. So we can start with that. As I mentioned, the project itself is running smooth. No major issues or hiccups at this time that we've been notified about. Now going into the projects for the 2023 bond, the GMPD is to be presented on a special session as discussed on the 25th of July due to some discrepancies that we had found when we were doing our due diligence and reviewing the verbiage as well as associated costs that were attached to that verbiage in that contract. We're happy to report that the project costs has come in under budget, and with the construction schedule commence on 1st of August of 2023. So again, just working out those little details and we'll proceed forward. With New Caney High School and CTE, the project has been broken up in 3 separate phases to manage the expectations and deliverables on that project. The first phase is the baseball, softball, tennis, and batting cages area. As you mentioned, we've got that area cleared out and graded. We're waiting for the final geo reports and surveys so we can proceed forward with that. The second phase is to include the CTE facility and the outdoor learning area, which will be the other side, close to the facility over there. And then the third phase will be the Southland project, starting with the demolition of the CTE facility, welding shop, tennis facility, the greenhouse, auto tech, and then prepare the site for the new field house, JV football field, and then the covered practice field. So we'll phase the work so that the consistency of the students being able to transfer over, they'll have their new home, and then we can commence that work down there. The construction department is vetting the final 2 CM at-risk construction managers, and we'll finalize and award those contracts. We have meetings set up, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday for the final 2 that we paired out through the matrix that we use to award, and we'll make a final award on those probably the next week. For the sports facility complex, as I mentioned, the circle and topo are completed. We're waiting for the CAP files to get distributed so we can send those out to the civil and site contractors so they can start finalizing their grading and everything selected on the plans to get that dialed in. For Highlands Elementary, again, 2023, that's with Arcadis, formerly IPI, current and final design. We're scheduled to commence the third quarter of 2023 on that. We've already done all the pre-construction basing on that with the geo and the surveys and everything. And we're working with the developer to get us the rest of the systems that we need in there. For New Caney Elementary School, 2023, that's going to be, again, probably going to Arcadis. All reports are closed out with the acquisition, with the land acquisition team. We are scheduled to close that again in the third quarter of this year as well. And then lastly is the admin building. GPD is the architect of record on that for 2023. We project currently finalizing the programming. Rich Russell has been working with the architect firm to finalize the footprints and everything on that. The survey's been completed. We're just waiting for a final layout and orientation so that we can release again pre-construction services, do our assessments with the soils, and then get those into draft mode. We'll circulate them out and then get the final approval on that so we can start moving forward on that. And that's basically the conclusion of where we're at right now with the projects that we currently have.
We're definitely hitting the ground running with Bond 23, so everything's on time and at or under budget, so all good from our end. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
All right, next, I've asked Dan Castile to come give a enrollment update. They're coming back. It's July, it's August, kids are showing up, families are ready to send them back to us. And so I just asked Dan to give an update as far as the enrollment process, attendance procedures, all that kind of fun stuff that comes with starting the school year up. So Dan, it is all yours.
All right. All right, good evening. Today we're going to talk about the enrollment attendance for this year. We're going to go over the proof of residency verification, the new student enrollment, returning student verification, and our attendance procedures for the school year. One new change starting this year is we're going to require proof of residency for all students, both new and returning. Every student's going to have to verify their address to live in the district or run a valid transfer. We've got an online process going to go out tomorrow. You can email every family a link. They can upload proof of residency. They can bring it to the school. We're going to make it as easy as possible for everyone to provide this to us. And of course, anyone who doesn't turn that in will be subject to administrative withdrawal at the beginning of the school year. Acceptable proofs of residency, basically utility bills, proof of home ownership, lease agreements, those are things we'll accept. We don't take cable bills, internet bills, and insurance. For new student online registration, we started enrollment today, actually. Parents will fill out the form online on the website, and they'll bring all their information in with the required documents to the annex. We're doing centralized registration at the annex for the next 9 days. What's required for enrollment, basically birth certificate, social security, immunization, and proof of residency, and then parent's ID. And then for proof of residency, the transfer, anybody who's on valid transfer can upload their transfer letter to show that they're on transfer. And then new student registration, we started today. We're going from 11 a.m. to 7. We're running through July 27th. We've expanded it from the normal 2 days that we run registration, because as we continue to grow, get more students involved, we're having less and less time to do all the administrative work and get scheduled and prepared for the first day of school. So we're trying this longer process to hopefully have everybody ready for the first day of school and minimize the time on the parents. Basically, we've got some stations set up. We're taking appointments to help thin out the process so we don't have everybody backed up at one time. They'll come to the annex. Our stations that we have, basically when they come in, we'll verify the documents. look at their address. We have people there from federal programs to talk to. We have notaries if that's needed. We have stations for people to fill out the application if they haven't done it before they come in. And we check pre-K qualification for pre-K students, verify immunization. The registrars verify all the data, scan it. We have PK there passing out backpacks to the new PK students. And then we have middle and high school counselors there for course requests. We can make sure it's one-stop shop for all the parents. For returning student registration, that link also went live last weekend. So parents will log into Family Access and complete the required forms they have to do every year, verify their address information and all their students' information, parents, guardians. And then attendance. Big thing here is we're very proactive when it comes to attendance. We try to head off as much as we can. So we allow 5 parent notes per semester for parents to submit. We have an automated phone call that goes out every day when a student's marked absence in the classroom. We do phone calls after 3, 5, 8, and 10 unexcused absences. So those are live phone calls or emails that come out of my department. So we make contact with those parents, show them how to present notes and what they need to turn in to help them keep their kids, with unexcused absences. Then after 10 unexcused absences, they would be referred to court to go see Judge Dunn. And we also monitor the 90% rule. Because 90% rule is to receive credit in high school, you have to be present 90% of the time the course is offered. So we run reports for that, send the principals that information so they can have meetings with the students when necessary. The big thing here for our attendance is last year, just some information. We made over 20,000 phone calls to parents when we were calling those 3, 5, 8, and 10 absences. We set up 5,100 attendance meetings, and we referred 617 students to court. And Judge Dunn works really well with us. Student Services actually goes to all the court dates, meets with Judge Dunn, answers any questions he has about the attendance when the parents are up there. And he's been really good in support of getting attendance in the district up. Now, just to give you a brief idea of what the truancy process is, the only box that's done on the campus is the yellow box, the actual meeting held by the assistant principal. Everything else takes place between either the Dean's Department of Attendance and Student Services, getting the courts filed and going to court. So we try to take as much of that off the campus as possible to free up their time to handle other issues. And we try to do most of it in our central attendance environment. All right, and that's it. Are there any questions?
Appreciate it,
All
man.
right, thank you.
All right, item 4 on the agenda is reports and proposals of board members. Got one. We'd like to recognize Mr. Mixon's completion of the Leadership TASB 2023 cohort. Leadership TASB is a unique board development program designed to take experienced board members to a new level of service and leadership, while exposing them to a variety of issues, people, activities, and locations. During a year-long program, trustees selected to participate in a LTASB cohort committed to the traditional year-long program consisting of 5 sessions each, lasting 2 to 3 days around the state. Each Leadership TASB cohort focuses on finding solutions to the challenges in public education today. Trustees accepted into LTASB learn and grow with other board members, becoming part of the supportive network of school board members, aiming to expand both their leadership skills and their knowledge of school governance. So we would like to recognize Mr. Mason's completion of his year-long session. Item 5 on the agenda is finance reports, consideration of purchasing reports, and consideration of personnel reports. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar? Consideration of minutes. Is there a motion? Second. Motion is moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, the vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Item 6 on the calendar is closed meeting. The board will now meet in closed meeting under the authority of Texas Government Code 551.074 for the first and personnel matters, Government Code 551.071 for attorney consultation, and Government Code 551.076 for deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, value of real property. Any action as a result of the closed session discussion will take place after the board reconvenes in open meeting. The time is 6:17. The board ended its closed meeting at 7:23 and will now reconvene in open session. Item 10 on the agenda is consideration of adoption of order calling school trustee election and taking all necessary action thereof, presented by Dr. Powell.
Help us meet the deadline for ordering the fall election for positions 1 and 2.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve the adoption of order calling school trustee election and taking all necessary action thereof? So moved. Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion of what will be taken, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is approved. Item 8 on the agenda is consideration of approval of election agreements presented by Dr. Powers.
Yes, sir. This item will allow us to join with Montgomery and Harris County in the fall election and meet those agreements.
Questions? Is there a motion to approve the election agreements? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is approved. Item 9 on the agenda is consideration of approval of change order number 2 for Porter Elementary Replacement Campus presented by Mr. Calvert.
Yes, sir. This is a change order for some tech dot work that needs to occur on Loop 494, as well as some detention work that goes along with that. Yes.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve change order number 2 for Porter Elementary Replacement Campus? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is approved. Item 10 on the agenda is consider, discuss, and potentially take action on whether or not the parking license agreement with Sig Valley Ranch LTD substantially impairs or interferes with the necessary public purpose and/or mission of New Caney Independent School District, presented by Mr. Calvin.
Yes, sir. This is the first step that we've got to take in order to visit with Sig Valley Ranch Limited about the parking agreement that's currently in place. We need to get y'all's approval to talk to them and revisit that agreement, see if we can work some things out within it.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I move to declare the parking license agreement with the Sig Valley Ranch impairs or interferes with the necessary public purpose and or mission of the New Caney Independent School District, and hereby delegate authority to the superintendent or his designee to negotiate, execute, amend, or terminate the parking license agreement as discussed in closed session.
There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is approved. There being no further business, the meeting is adjourned at 7:26. Oh, that's right. Hang on, back up. We're not adjourned yet.
Ms. Monroe is almost off the hook. I'm going to introduce Ms. Lori Monroe, our Executive Director of Instructional Programs, to make an introduction for our new Director of Fine Arts.
Yes, it is with great pleasure that I introduce Nick Legerio as our new Fine Arts Director. He's coming to us with just a wealth of experience as a performer himself, fine arts teacher, fine arts administrator, and so we're just thrilled to have him. So welcome, Nick.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
There being no further business, the meeting is now adjourned at 7:27.